Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Once again, for those of you joining us in the room, my name is Marlena Renteria, and I'm the Chief Experience Officer here with First Imperial Credit Union. And in today, we're going to be talking about managing your holiday budget. So I know Black Friday is just coming around, so we wanted to get this webinar out on time before you start your holiday shopping. So hopefully, with today's webinar, you'll be able to manage your holiday spending effectively. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. But if you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and add them to the chat, and I'll make sure to go through them once we get to that question and answer session. So let's go ahead and get started. So the importance of budgeting during holiday season. Again, I know that we're getting those advertisings in the mail, maybe through your email on social media. So everything's reading sale, sale. So it's really important that we set those budgets beforehand, so you can have a little bit more comfortable holiday season. You want to make sure that you're not racking up too much debt, because after all, the holiday seasons, it's just to be spent with family, with friends, and to enjoy all the different experiences that we can have. You want, again, reduce your debt. And according to Statista, 43% of consumers expect to spend more than last year during this holiday season. Now, there may be a lot of different factors for that. Inflation, cost of goods tend to be a little bit higher. So you do want to make sure that you're anticipating that when you're setting those holiday budgets. So how do we start with setting a budget? I know that oftentimes when you hear the word budget, you kind of want to groan or think that it's too much work, but it's simple, and it's just to kind of get back to it. You don't have to have fancy programs. It could start with the plain, uh, paper and pen, and just sitting down and determining what's your income. So income, as you know, it could be from your salary and wages, from any extra monies that you may get. So, some people get bonuses towards the end of this year, and looking at all of your accounts and saying, what do I have in savings, and what am I able to spend towards my holiday budget? And then you want to allocate that into funds, because a lot of times we think holiday budget and we just think buying gifts. But there's travel, there's decorations that we like to have, right? We want to have Christmas lights and things at our house, inside the house, and food. If you're having all these holiday gatherings, Friendsgiving, Friendsmas, as I like to call it, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. So try to think outside of just the general category of gifts. Now, with that being said, gifts is probably going to be your largest category. So make sure that you write down everyone that you need to purchase gifts for. Again, like I said, do it in an Excel spreadsheet, even in your notes, in your phone. It's just to give you a visual of saying, okay, maybe it's 10 people I need to buy. Maybe it's 15, 20, 30 people. Uh, so you just want to make sure that you have everyone accounted for so you can set your budget accordingly. Now, tracking expenses. So there, like I've been mentioning, there are some tools that can help you. Obviously, the FICU app. There are some links here on the PowerPoint that you can use to download if you haven't already. But maybe you're not using First Imperial as your main financial institution. So that could be with whatever other bank or credit union that you may have. Look at their app and see if there's any type of transactions that you can tag, just so you can keep track of where that holiday spending is going. Again, use Excel or spreadsheets, or notes from your phone. There's a lot of like list options that you can do. I know at least on the iPhone, on the Notes app, you can do lists, and check those things off as you're purchasing gifts. And the good thing is regularly monitoring. So a lot of the times in these presentations, I often say, what, how many times do you check your social media in a day? If it's more than 5, then you can at least devote some of that time to checking your online banking, your statements, wherever you check your accounts, whether it be your checking and your savings account. You want to make sure that you are regularly monitoring them, because it could be that we're buying purchases online or we're going to the store and you forget about these things, right? We have so much going on in our lives that it's really important to use those tools that you have to try to keep you on track during this holiday season. So here are some smart shopping tips. So you want to plan ahead. So make a list and shop early to avoid those last minute splurges. Look for deals. Again, Black Friday is coming up. So you want to take advantage of some of those coupons, discounts, and take the time to compare online. Maybe a pair of boots that you're thinking about buying for someone might not be on sale on the regular website, but you have so many different options to choose from. You have Amazon, Walmart, Target, just to name a few. Make sure that you're doing, a little bit of comparing. $10 that you save on any gift, it could definitely add up. So make sure that you look for those deals. One of the apps that I really like to look at is Retail Me Not. If you haven't heard of that, they often have coupons on there. And I know there's some other extensions that you can add with PayPal just to see where you get the most out of the things that you're looking for. And then the last thing is avoid impulse buying. So stick to your list. If you have, nephews, nieces, or even your children that you want to buy for, start preparing of what are they like. Are you going to buy them a gift card? And that's always the easiest route. Or are you going to look for a toy, things like that? And that way you avoid purchasing extra things. Or if you are purchasing extra things, you can able to budget for them beforehand. And then the last one is avoiding the one for me gift impulse. And I know this is something that we all struggle with, especially during the season, right? We're seeing so many sales, discounts out there that we think, okay, I'll buy this for myself, but then I'll also buy this. So it's that whole one for me, one for my list. So this is one of those things that you really need to look out for and stick to your budget as best as possible. I know we want to treat ourselves, but right now, just first stick to your list, and then also make a list of things that you've seen for yourself. Right? Maybe you want to put that off to the side and say, okay, I don't want to forget about it because it's a good deal, but not right now. Stick to your list of, again, decorations, gifts, travel that you might need, and then go back to what you're buying for yourself. So saving strategies. How do we save the most this season? So one of the things that you can do is do it yourself gifts, right? So consider making homemade gifts that you can save money. You can do cookie platters maybe for coworkers. I've seen a lot of my coworkers. I get here on Thanksgiving or Christmas time, and I get baggies of cookies and things like that, and it's wonderful gifts. And it really shows your creativity. So think about cookie platters, maybe blankets and scarves. A lot of these ideas you can also get from, doing a quick Google search. What are some gift ideas under $20? You can buy dollar scratch tickets, right? Get a couple of them, or give one to each of your coworkers as a small gift with maybe some of those cookies, right? You want to try and save as much as possible, and then still keep track of your gift and sticking to that budget. One of the other things I love to do is use gift sets. So a lot of the times during the holiday seasons, there are gift sets that you can break apart. Like think about makeup gifts, right? So if you have daughters or sisters, you can go to some of the retailers, buy big gifts that have multiple, perfume sets, makeup sets, and break them apart to make smaller gifts. So everything is thoughtful, but you're able to save some money on those. Secret Santas are always a great idea. So you can organize gift exchange, and maybe you don't have to buy as many gifts, right? Especially if you have a bigger family. Once you get your in-laws and everyone involved, your list can keep growing. So maybe organize with them and say, hey, you know what? Let's do a gift exchange extend. So instead of buying, 30 gifts, maybe you only have to buy one or two. So it's all about organizing. As you can see, that's one of the common themes is to just sit down, think about what you need to buy, because it could be overwhelming, but once you see it on a list, you're able to break it down into smaller chunks. And then lastly here on meals, potluck meals. So again, holiday meals can be expensive. So think about, maybe you're not the best baker in the family. So, get with someone else that knows how to make desserts, get with someone that knows how to grill, maybe your brother, your husband, your father, right? So you can share those expenses and again, make everything easier on other people because it's a group effort. Now, one of the main things, maybe you're a little late for starting your holiday savings account this year, but it's an important tool to just think about every saving from every check, approximately 10%. Just put it away into a savings account, and that way, if you have holidays coming up, you're able to kind of save that. And you can start that now, right? Make it a habit so you're not forced to be paycheck to paycheck trying to pull a little bit off to the side, but you're not sure, especially right now, things can be a little bit tighter. So start early, and that way you're able to grow your savings with a little bit more time. Now, apart from savings, the other ways to purchase things obviously are credit cards, right? Credit cards, lines of credit, but you want to make sure that you're using it wisely because it may be easy just to pull out a credit card, but at the end, think of the additional anxiety it's going to have that, now you're going to look at your statement and there might be a lot of debt that's piling up. So you want to make sure you're choosing the right card. Choose the one that has the lowest interest. A lot of us have multiple credit cards in the wallet. Go ahead and look onto each of those and say, okay, which one has the lowest interest that I can use right now because it's just for a short period of time, and try to avoid maxing it out. You always want to make sure that you have those balances under 30%. You can do a quick calculation. For that, you can just do 30% of the entire limit that you have. And there's a lot of savings calculators that you can use out there or credit card calculators to help you determine that. But the quickest formula is just 30% of your available or your total balance or your limit, I'm sorry. And then also paying your debt off quickly. So don't let it pile up because those interest charges can accumulate. So maybe something that costs $100 after all the interest is going to end up, costing 150. So if you're not able to pay the entire balance at the end of the month, try to pay as much as you can above the minimum. Maybe your minimum is $25. Try to pay 30 or 40, and that way you avoid accumulating that interest and you're not seeing those big balances at the end of the month. Setting up alerts is also very important because you want to make sure that you don't missing those payment reminders, because again, there's so much going on during the holidays, so many emails that you're receiving. Make sure you're paying attention to the alerts from your financial institutions just to make sure you're not missing those payments. And then lastly here, just take advantage of promotions. A lot of credit cards and financial institutions allow for interest-free periods or balance transfer offers. Sometimes you can even get the interest for 0%. So just try to look for those promotions and don't just discard them. Read them. Maybe you can lower your purchases for the next couple of months while you're purchasing, again, the gifts and food, travel. So just to take advantage of those and read those advertisements that are coming to your mail and to your email. So just in review, again, we wanted to make this short and just kind of keep it top of mind to make sure you're setting those budgets for your holiday spending. So after the holidays, excuse me, evaluate your spending. So think, okay, my original budget was maybe say $100, $300. How much did you actually spend? And that way for next year, you can say, okay, you know what? 300 is a lot more realistic than saying that I'm going to spend $100 this whole holiday season for gifts, food, travel. And that way you can start planning again. Remember, common theme is organizing yourself and plan ahead. And then you can start saving early. There's many things that you can do with your financial institution, whether it be opening a holiday saver account or a short-term CD that allows you to get a little bit more out of your savings account, so you can get that a little bit extra funds that comes with having a short-term CD or a holiday saver. Again, you want to start planning early and not have access to those funds. That way, when holiday time comes, you're able to continue with your holiday spending. And again, the whole thing is to enjoy the season, be happy. We're finally out of the triple digit weather here in the Imperial County. So it's really important that we start setting things aside and plan for holiday season. So the last recap here on how to stay on track, set balance alert on your mobile app. Don't shop on payday. That's really important. A lot of times we wait for for the end of the month, to just stop shopping. But, when you see that you have a lot of available balance maybe in your checking account, you might tend to overspend. So don't shop for food when you're hungry. So again, when you're prepping for your holiday meals, you might go to the grocery store and buy a few extra things that you don't need. So make sure that you are making those lists and sticking to them as best possible. And remember, nothing is a bargain unless you truly need it. So this goes back to those gifts that are one for me, one for you, one for me. You want to make sure that if it says 10% off, maybe do the calculation and say, is this really something that I need right now? Is the 10%, which, maybe just the taxes, is this something that's really going to help me save and make me feel better? So just think about it. Have this plan and a spending plan and stick to it. And no one can make you buy anything. So this is where coming into watching YouTube videos, TikToks that are influencing you to buy, the latest trends and things like that. Remember to take those with a grain of salt, right? If you don't need them at that particular time, or if it's not helping you feel better in the long run, maybe you want to try and avoid those things. Again, if it's a good discount, if it's something that's, going through your list, through your budget, great, take advantage of it, but don't let all the influences around you, detract from the budget that you're trying to stick to during the holidays. Now we've come to the question and answer session here. Does anybody have any questions or want to talk about a particular part of the webinar? Let's see, I don't have anything in chats. Okay, well, that'll be it for this webinar. We appreciate you attending. Hopefully you did take some good takeaways from this webinar. And for more financial literacy webinars, you can visit ficu.com. And thank you for attending. I know it's during lunch hour and, we're trying to get our food and eat, but, it's little tips like this that can make a lasting impression and have the ability to make you have a great holiday season and make you feel more at peace, right? That's what we want for you all. Whether you're a member or just a member of this community, we want to thank you again for attending and taking that holiday budget into consideration. And if you have any other suggestions on our next topics, please feel free to email feedback@ficu.com. And again, my name is Marlena Renteria, the Chief Experience Officer here at First Imperial Credit Union, and we want to wish you a great holiday season. Thank you.